between these two, you will see spontaneously the bromine rush from one to the other.
So, Zanik,
In this case,
just one question for Zanik.
Yeah.
Given that he's...
Yes.
The question's going to come before you answer it, strangely enough, Zanik. So, given that he had a... Did he have an isolated system in that example?
Yes.
He did? No, you're wrong.
Yes.
Sorry.
Nathan, I showed you pressure gradient. You didn't.
Oh, did you? You showed it me by going outside, and I pointed out that your sky's a vacuum. Mutter, mutter. Yeah, you said to go outside as a demonstration. I then pointed out that in your fundamentalist religious zealot worldview, where you think you're on a spinning ball flying through a vacuum, your sky is a vacuum, a vast space for the gas to fill. And fill it must. It's dictated by natural law. How many bloody times?
You didn't show a container.
What's this guy's
Oh,
name?
didn't I? I'm not making a claim about what the sky is. Me as an individual, have I made a claim about... Shut up! I am talking! Don't strawman me. I've not made a claim about what the sky is. However, you and the majority of the Western world are under the misapprehension that the sky is a vacuum. Me? I'm not making any claims and I don't need to. I can just take a giant steaming dump on the entire Western world's fundamentalist religious belief that the sky is a vacuum. It's not. It violates natural law. No requirement from me whatsoever to tell you or anybody what the sky is in order to dismantle your religious belief.
We have gas pressure on the Earth.
Yeah, therefore we must have containment. You can't have gas pressure without a container. How many bloody times? You saying that, yeah, we've got gas pressure. What's your next appeal? Therefore the sky must be a vacuum. No, mate, that violates natural law. I've said it about 16 times.
No, I didn't say the sky must be a vacuum.
It's part of the Western world's religion. Now, you are part of that religion. Do I care that you as an individual may or may not agree with this Western world religion? No, mate. It's called heliocentrism. I don't care what you think. Your belief about what the sky is inconsequential, about as inconsequential as my belief about what the sky is. We're not challenging you, you pathetic little muppet. You think we care what your view is? No, mate, you're a pathetic nobody and we literally care not what you think about the sky. However, there is definitely a Western world religious worldview that it's a bloody vacuum. And you're part of that little worldview, aren't you, muppet?
We have gas pressure.
We have gas pressure, and the sky, therefore, in my worldview, is a vacuum, therefore must violate natural... Shut up, mate.
Container, I said. I didn't talk about...
Yeah, we need a container. Your sky's a vacuum. That's the end of this argument.
You need. I don't need.
I don't need anything. I've got gas pressure, and natural law dictates that you require containment. So my argument could very well be, I can walk outside and breathe gas pressure. Therefore, natural law dictates that there must be containment. That's a perfectly plausible argument. Your argument is go outside, therefore the sky is a vacuum. No, that violates the natural law I could use to make a claim about containment and the sky being said containment. I don't need to make that claim. I'm dismantling a religious worldview of a sky vacuum by pointing out that that worldview is violating natural law.
You make a claim. We need a container.
Yeah, it's natural law, not a claim I need to prove. Inviolable natural law. not a claim. If you think I'm claiming that we need gas pressure without a container, dipshit, show me it without. Go.
Yes. Here outside. Go.
That's your fundy religious worldview belief that the sky is a vacuum. That's not a demonstration of gas pressure without a container. That's your belief in a second law of thermodynamics violation. Not proof.
Tell me about this second law of thermodynamics.
Why? Why should I educate you, a complete wanker? I don't need to educate your dumbass on the second law of thermodynamics. It is natural law whether you are ignorant of it or not.
No, it's...
Yeah, you're done here, mate. Go away and learn what the second law of thermodynamics is. Learn what a microstate is, maybe. Yeah, it's a weird one because the general Western world feels very safe in their assertions that the Earth's a sphere, and even safer in their assertions of their pseudoscience, gravity, and things of that nature. Well, when it comes to getting down to the nitty-gritty of being the ridiculed flat earther, you sat here in ridicule, and you've got natural law on your side. It's a weird position to be in, you've got to admit.
In your model.
What would entropy dictate? Tell me.
Hold on,
Yeah, second law of thermodynamics.
Just 1 second, we've got Rumpus. I didn't see you there, Rumpus. Hello.
Hello, Nathan. I was just wondering whether you thought it was a natural law that high gas pressure went to low gas pressure.
That's entropy. You're describing an entropy increase.
Am I too quiet?
You're describing an entropy increase.
Right, so let's try that again. Do you believe that it's a natural law for high pressure to go to lower pressure?
You've just described... I'm going mad. I just answered this. You've just described an entropy...
I asked the question.
Now he's talking through me, so he's got to be removed. So I've described it to him. He's ignored me completely. I've tried to repeat it, and he's talked through the repetition because he doesn't want to hear the actual answer. He's just described an entropy increase. That's what he's just described. What, you think you got some gotcha there, do you, Rumpus? I'll take you off mute and see what you think you might have had there. Let's see how we get on.
Is it a natural law that high gas pressure goes to low gas pressure?
That would be an entropy increase. You're describing part of the entropy law, specifically an increase in entropy.
So the answer is yes, it is a natural law then for high gas pressure to go to lower gas pressure.
It's part... Sorry, it's just misrepresented what I've said. Did I say that was a natural law, or did I describe part of a natural law, specifically an entropy increase? The entropy law speaks to this specifically as being an entropy increase. Is that 4 times I've said that, panel? Is that 4 times?
That's 4 times. But Nathan, why are you even going there? He doesn't believe that the second law applies to the Earth to begin with. So why is he having this conversation with us?
Good question, Paul. Maybe you'd like to ask him that. Ask him.
Exactly.
Okay, then, is it part of natural law then that high gas...
Does it apply to the Earth?
Second law of thermodynamics apply to the Earth.
Let's try it again. Is it part of something?
I've asked you a question, right? You've been asked by 2 other people. I've answered you. You've not acknowledged my answer. You've talked through my answer. I've repeated my answer 4 times. Now we're damn well going to ask you something, you moron. You think this law of nature doesn't apply to the Earth, don't you, moron?
Is it part of natural
Now
law?
you're ignoring our questions. It seems I've answered his question 4 times. And the unbelievable prick wants to only ask us things. So are you a coward, Rumpus? Can't you be answering questions? Is it only asking them? Do you believe that I'm now being talked to... Well, I'll repeat the question. He doesn't want to answer because he's scared of it.
I'm more than happy
Do you... Well, then shut up. I've got to put him on mute to ask the question. Let's see if he ignores it. That's 2 attempts. Paul, do you want to ask the question again? Or chocolate?
Yeah, does the second law of thermodynamics apply to the Earth, Rumpus?
I'll answer that in just a couple of seconds because I haven't had my question answered.
Yeah, you can fuck right off. Bye-bye. You're no longer part of the conversation. I answered your question 4 times. You can't answer it because we know. We've already got many quotes from you saying the second law, a natural law, of thermodynamics doesn't apply to the Earth. And I loosely translate that as the second law of thermodynamics violated in the Earth model doesn't apply to the Earth model because it's violated in it. That's what he actually means. He can't answer, does it apply? Because it doesn't apply to his model. It can't apply to his model because his model violates it. Simple.
Thermodynamics has nothing to do with science. Can you show the second law or the second theory of thermodynamics?
The second theory of the second what?
Yeah,
I mean, the second law of
natural laws don't have anything to do
about energy flow.
With science.
It's how it's science.
No, how it's
natural
not science.
laws do not have anything. Shut up.
That was me, sorry. He's saying isolated system.
In an isolated system, yes, there will be no change in entropy. I mean, no change in heat or energy, but there will be a change of entropy in that system, and it will go up through any process.
Sorry.
Okay.
Go on,
okay. I asked him, can you have entropy change without energy or temperature change? What did he say? No. We didn't talk about isolated systems that don't exist in nature.
Are you talking about an isolated system or closed system?
You fucking shut
up. I didn't know what system you're talking about.
Rumpusing you when you point out how wrong he is. You were wrong. The system that was... Hold on. Just let me explain to Zanuck where he's wrong. You've just had it read out, and that's been played. I don't know if someone can dig... Oh, Chocolate's done it for me. Perfect. So this was read out to you.
And in the other, I have a vacuum. And if I open the tap between these two, you will see spontaneously the bromine rush from one to the other. Now that is the simplest change we can have, perhaps, because all that happens is a change in entropy. In this case, the expansion into a vacuum, nothing else is involved. There's no energy change, there's no temperature change, there's no change except entropy. So without the entropy
turn out the
light. And if I open the tap between these two, you will see spontaneously the bromine rush from one to the other. Now that is the simplest change we can have, perhaps, because all that happens is a change in entropy.
So Zanuck,
in this case,
just one question for Zanuck.
Yeah.
Given that he's...
Yes.
The question's going to come before you answer it, strangely enough, Zanuck. So, given that he had a... Did he have an isolated system in that example?
Yes.
He did? No, you're wrong.
Yes.
Sorry, you think his canister was an isolated system? You don't know what isolated means.
Yes, in his example, yes, it was.
No, it wasn't. You're wrong. Do not ever talk on it again. You are stupid. Do you hear me, Zanuck?
No.
Yes! I am tearing a strip off you based on your demonstration here today, declaration that a closed system's an isolated system, making you a moron. Never talk on this subject. That is an order, moron, I'm telling you.
Excuse me, can I say something?
No! I'm telling you never to talk on this subject ever again. At a fundamental level, you do not understand it. You've got no right whatsoever to talk on this subject because you are fundamentally incorrect in your assertions in its regard. You have no place talking on the second law of thermodynamics. You do not understand it. Now, I'm a flat earther. And I do understand the second law of thermodynamics. And I, the flat earther, am telling you that you have no place talking on this subject. Do you understand, you unbelievable moron?
If you put a heat lamp on that container...
Shut up! Don't talk on this subject! How dare you? You are representative of the rest of the retarded globeheads who occupy this corner of the internet. At a fundamental level, you're stupid, but you feel you've got the right to talk on this subject after being told, in no uncertain terms by me, that you've got no place talking on this subject, because you've demonstrated just how stupid you are. So don't immediately talk on this subject, you unbelievable retard. I'm telling you off. Me, the person who's not ignorant, is telling you, the ignorant one, where you're ignorant and why you shouldn't be talking on this subject. Do you understand, Mr. Closed system is an isolated system? You're stupid.
Wouldn't you, if you put a heat lamp on a flask, wouldn't that transfer heat into the flask? And wouldn't
Thank you, Paul. Thank you very much.
Yeah, making it a closed system, not an isolated system. That's why I've told you off, you complete fool.
Paul gets it. Paul gets it. Paul.
Yeah, that would make it a closed system. You declared, because you're a retard, like all of you globehead retards, that it was an isolated system. Therefore, you do not understand this.
I understand it. I don't think you do, actually.
So now you're going to get removed from the conversation, because that's an ad hominem attack. I unequivocally understand this law of nature. You are a retard, Zanik.
If there's heat transfer, it is a closed system.
Correct, Paul. That's correct.
Zanik,
But they were
Yeah, we know we're right, Zanik. We are on the winning side of this argument. The Earth is obviously and observably flat. The sky is definitely not a vacuum. It violates natural law. And all you've got to do is obfuscate and confuse and scramble what are well-established laws of nature. And while you're doing it, you're demonstrating your ignorance to my audience. You're demonstrating how the globe side of this argument definitely doesn't understand this law of nature, to the point where you will boldly, on a recording, declare that a closed system is an isolated system. So you've lost.
And can you give us the line in which he spoke about an isolated system?
If it's not isolated, energy could change, right?
Sorry. All we seem to be doing is arguing about what systems are. So initially, your argument was that this doesn't apply to Earth because it only applies to isolated systems. But it seems we've debunked that claim that you've made, Zanik, because this definitely doesn't only apply to isolated systems, this law of nature. It was just demonstrated with a closed system. So what we've actually done is debunk your initial claim, and then you've led us on this merry dance of arguing about systems indefinitely, when in reality you claimed that this second law of thermodynamics didn't apply to the Earth because it only applied to isolated systems, and what we did to debunk you was demonstrate it happening in a closed system, and ultimately demonstrating just how stupid you are and how little you understand about this law of nature. Now, I realise and will tell my audience that while I've been saying this, you haven't been listening, you've been talking, in the vain hope that it won't reach you or the audience, and that ultimately you won't respond to the fact that we've debunked your claim that isolated systems are the only thing applicable when describing the second law of thermodynamics. We've debunked that shite that you came out with, Zanik.
And so have you, basically.
I didn't say that the second law doesn't apply to the Earth. I said in that test of the scientist or physicist that he was speaking of that glass container as if...
No. This is not about the container. Let's not try and obfuscate the point I've just made. We were talking about Earth, Zanik. And you said that the second law of thermodynamics, that's Rumpus's point. He's saying it doesn't apply to the Earth because it's describing an isolated system. Now, by demonstration and in reality, it's applicable to open and closed systems.